Bienvenidos al Panda Podcast, donde el hip hop nunca muere. Yo soy Nate, estoy aquí mi compañero Sales, y hoy vamos a hablar de todo sobre el hip hop. So let's get it.
All right, am I up? All right. Not sure what he said. Anyway, if you guys like what you hear, please like, subscribe, and share. We'll keep building here. So you may be wondering what that was all about.
Yeah.
So we are doing an episode on international or basically non-American hip hop. So that was Nate's tribute to the international scene.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Mi español no tan bueno, pero I can talk a little bit.
If I'm drinking enough tequila, I can talk Spanish or understand Spanish, but I haven't been drinking today, so there. Basically, like what I said, we're going to talk about international hip hop, and I was thinking about it. Most Americans were like, "Well, hip hop was growing here, so I'm not going to bother looking anywhere else." I think it gets from an American audience
overlooked a lot.
It gets overlooked, and when they do acknowledge a foreign artist, it's always like, well, they're pretty good for a British MC. Or it's not like
this is a good artist.
Yeah, so I think we kind of do that, and I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I try to be open-minded, but I'm guilty of it.
The only one that's outside of the U.S. that we probably consider without a second thought is probably Canada.
Yeah, because they're like our little brothers. They're like Drake, so
yeah, it's like Tory Lanez and all them like that and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was Canada. Weekend is too?
Yeah, the Weeknd's, he's Canadian as well.
For some reason I thought he was from Seattle, but I have no idea where that even came from.
So. Yeah, there's a lot of people from Canada. I think Justin Bieber's from Canada, I believe.
Yeah, well, they should have kept him. Yeah, so I made a list. I've been listening to a lot recently. If you've listened to some of our recent ones, some of my recommendations have been some German groups and stuff, but I thought I'd start off, if it's all right with you, with some of the early stuff. So
go ahead.
The first one, and it's not really an international MC because everything he did was in America, but Slick Rick is a British citizen. And actually spent time in jail for immigration stuff. Like he committed a crime, and because he was an immigrant, he got more time or something like that back in the 90s.
Slick Rick.
Yeah, and actually his second album was partially recorded from prison, if I remember right.
In Britain?
No, and he was here in the U.S. Yeah. So he was born in England, but came here, I think, illegally as a kid, and grew up here.
Yeah, that same story happened to 21 Savage.
Okay.
21 Savage is born in, I guess, in Britain.
That's right. That's right. And then he gets some immigration back.
Yeah, he got immigration.
Yeah. MF Doom as well was originally born in England and then moved to America when he was really young. So I think he was a citizen, though. So those were kind of the first two international, but not really.
Yeah.
The first one that I really knew of and liked would have been Moni Love.
Moni Love?
So she's a British rapper.
Okay.
But was part of Native Tongues, so she was on doing her own thing from the Jungle Brothers album.
Mm-hmm.
And she may have been on Buddy, but she's on some other tracks, I think, with them.
Yeah.
But her first, I think it was Down to Earth was her album, and Moni in the Middle and It's a Shame were the two big singles from there. So she was probably the first international
one. Yeah. You liked it?
Yeah. The next one, and I don't really remember. I remember listening to their stuff, and I don't think I ever knew they were British, but it was a group called Hijack. And I knew them because they were part of Ice-T's Rhyme Syndicate. And actually, their first album was put out, I believe, on Rhyme Syndicate Records.
Really?
Don't remember a lot about it. I remember listening to it, and I'm pretty sure they had a track on one of the Rhyme Syndicate albums.
Mm-hmm.
They had like Donald D and Ice-T and Everlast on it and stuff like that. So that would have been the next one. Then the first group that I really listened and actually still listen to this day was a Canadian group called Dream Warriors. Yeah, my dog's getting excited over here.
You said Dream Warriors?
Dream Warriors, yeah. And they had their big hit, I guess, was a song called My Definition of a Boombastic Jazz Style.
Wow, that's a mouthful, isn't it?
And it sampled a song called I think it's Jazz Bossa Nova by Quincy Jones, which later became famous as the theme song from Austin Powers movies.
Oh,
so that kind of beat where he's dancing and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was the beat for their. And what's funny is when it first came out, it was like, yeah, these guys sampled the theme song from a Canadian news show. So I guess they had used it.
Oh.
So they didn't even acknowledge that it was Quincy Jones. It wasn't until later that I realized that that's what it was. So,
Dang.
And then the next one. And I remember listening to him a little bit, but I don't think they actually released a full album until later. But it was a group called Zimbabwe Legit, and they were from Zimbabwe.
Okay, Zimbabwe Legit.
Yeah, and they, and I did not realize this at the time, but their first single, which was called "Doing Damage in My Native Language," was actually produced by Mr. Long of Black Sheep, who produced a lot of Black Sheep stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were signed to Hollywood Basic, which was a pretty decent record label in that at that time. I'm trying to remember who else was on there, but I think DJ Shadow had something to do with them. So that was probably the biggest international one that I knew of. And then I'm taking all the time, or do you want to jump in? Do you have anything, or do you want me to keep going?
I mean, you can keep going.
Okay.
Right now.
So the next one after that would have been a guy named Socrates, and he was an MC producer from Toronto.
Okay.
Dropped a few tracks in the mid-90s, 94, 95, 96. They were pretty decent. And then the next one that I was well aware of was Stereo MCs, and they had a song called Connected from 1992. They were a hip-hop group, but they were also kind of in that British electro, so it was sometimes more upbeat. They had some good just straight hip-hop tracks, but a lot of it was more kind of on the upbeat kind of dance side. But Connected is actually a really, really good song.
Okay.
And then I've got 3 more for my originals here, so let me do that, and then I'll jump over to you. So the next one is a guy named DJ Vadim, and he's actually from Russia via London. So I'm not 100% sure if he released music in Russia first and then went there, or if it all came out in London.
Yeah.
But he was basically DJ, producer, worked with a lot of different people. A lot of times he had kind of a reggae, dancehall kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. One of the best projects he has is one called the... Oh man, I'm forgetting it. No, it was a collaboration album with him and Anti Pop Consortium, which is a kind of an avant-garde New York hip hop collect group with Beans and M. Saeed, and I forget the other guy. What was it? Starts with an I. Keep wanting to say illusionist, but I don't believe it's illusionist. It's something else, but I'll think of it. But really good stuff. You know, just a variety of good classic hip hop, break beats, like DJ, turntables and type records. He delved into a little bit of dance and stuff, but a lot of it had kind of a reggae vibe.
Yeah. So, okay.
And then the next one was another British producer crew called the Herbalizer. And they were a couple guys that were a production team. Where I heard of them the most was they did a lot with MC named What, who actually later changed her name to Jean Grey.
Oh,
so that was some of her original stuff. Yeah. So in fact, some of my favorite tracks by her are on Herbalizer. She put stuff on probably at least 3 or 4 of their albums.
Okay.
But they worked with a lot of different people, a lot of British and US MCs.
Okay.
And then the last one on my list from kind of early on is DJ Crush, and he's a Japanese turntablist and DJ producer. Makes kind of a classic boom bap underground style, but with turntablism and cuts. And he's worked with a lot of different people, a lot of like Aesop Rock, the Anticon crew, so like Dose One.
Yeah, okay.
Some of these people, Buck 65, Sage Francis, and a lot of other people. And he's also done some collaborations with jazz musicians. So he did a cool album with Ronnie Jordan, who's a guitarist, jazz guitarist. And I'm not 100% sure if it was recorded together or if it's all remix work, but it's a really good kind of hip-hop jazz album. And the other one that he did was with this guy. He's a Japanese famous jazz trumpet player.
Okay.
Don't remember his name off the top of my head, but so yeah, he's done a lot of really good stuff. So those were like my early ones, like that I have. I have some more here, but I've been hogging up the time here.
You good?
I'll go to you, and then we'll come back to me to do a few others.
So I didn't have a lot to go off of. You know, when I was doing this, I was looking at because I first started off with like artists that I can understand. Let's just say that. So I went to like Lil Sims. Because you told me about Lil Sim.
Actually, I forgot to bring her on my list too.
Yeah, so I listened to I didn't listen to an album by her, but I listened to like a few songs by her. And
okay.
Yeah. Besides the songs I already heard from her, which I never heard a song from her, I just heard her on features.
Okay.
With other artists that I know. But no, she can spit and she can.
She's a hell of an MC.
Yeah, she is an MC. And I'm like, yo, she nice. She nice with it.
She's got an album called Introvert. Yeah, that whole album is really good. The lead single was a song called I Might Be an Introvert.
Okay.
And it's got this really lush, like, symphonic type of production at first.
Yeah.
And then it drops in just a really dope beat. But that's a really good song. But that whole album is really good. She actually has a new one coming up. It was supposed to be released in May, but I think I just saw that it got pushed back to June for something for some reason. So
okay.
yeah, that's a good one. She's really dope. I've got 3 or 4 of her records. I should have pulled those ones out.
Yeah.
I feel bad not that I forgot her. So
Yeah, no, Little Sims is nice. Little Sims is
Yeah.
nice. So after Little Sims, I forgot who else I listened to, but because I forgot to write them down. But then I went to I don't know what country this is, but the city is Zaragoza, Zaragoza, and it's from what you call it, a guy named Villa Dolores de Verso, which means verse violator. And I guess that's he was violating the verses, I guess. But it's
that's his name, his MC name.
Yeah, that's his MC name, and I listened to his album Vivir para Control, which is to live under control. I believe that's what it is, and the it's based in, like, I guess you could say it came out in 2006.
Okay.
But you can hear like the 90s hip hop in the music, and it has some good beats in there too. And what he's pretty much talking about is like the struggle, of course, and just being the country as a whole, you know what I'm saying, how it needs to do better and stuff like that. I didn't understand total, like, everything he was saying. Like I said, my Spanish is limited in point, but yeah, I mean, it was a great album, and I liked it from top to bottom. Maybe there was some couple songs here that got a little annoying, I ain't gonna lie to you, but yeah, he was spitting.
All right.
My second one is I went to France, and I don't know if you told me about this guy, if I just heard him through the grapevine, but his name's I Am.
It's a group, actually.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Okay. So
they were gonna be
that's the album I listened to too. That's the album I listened to, which, man, that album was nice. That album was nice with it. So yeah, when I was listening to it, I didn't understand nothing. Nothing. I don't even know how to say this. I don't even know how to say it.
The name of the album.
L'écho de tu.
Yeah,
I don't know how to pronounce this, to be honest with you.
L'écho du micro d'argent.
D'argent.
Yeah, I know I'm not doing that justice, so.
Yeah, I probably butchered that very bad.
I don't know if it has something to do with samurais though, because the cover has samurais on it.
Yeah,
the cover is actually really cool.
Yeah, and I like the whole aesthetics of the album, and he had some MCs on there, some US.
Yeah, he worked a lot. Because they actually came out in like the mid '90s.
Oh yeah,
their first album I think came out like '94.
Oh,
but a lot of stuff when I first, because I just barely started listening to them recently, within the last few months. And as I was reading up, they're kind of like, they were considered like France's Wu-Tang Clan, and so they worked a bunch with some of the guys from Wu-Tang. They had like Prodigal Son and Hellraiser.
Yeah. That was on
Brazil, who was part of the Roots, I believe.
Was that on that track, The Sun, or was it? I forget what was that. I forgot what the name was. It was like Sun Glazer or something like that. Something with
the Saga had Timbo King, Prodigal Son.
The Saga, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and then the title track has Prodigal Son, Hellraiser, Baldhead, and Cody.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but I know they've worked with a few other people too. I think I want to say they had like Ghostface Killer on some other stuff. And I think they even worked with RZA at one point, if I remember right. I'd have to look back, but yeah, that's actually, like you said, just production-wise, and even though you don't know what they're saying, they flow.
Yeah.
And they ride the beat perfectly. Very well. Yeah, Yeah, and
even, I mean, just through the videos, I had got a concept of what they were talking about. Like, I forgot what song it was, but it was pretty much what a video where the two kids was born at the same time or whatever like that. And one was born in poverty and one was born in wealth.
Okay.
And so you kept seeing it throughout the music video. You seen the dualities of, like.
Oh, interesting. I haven't watched any of the videos. I've just been listening to the music. So.
Yeah, it was real. Like I said, I probably would enjoy it more if I would understand what they were saying in that music video. But just the visuals alone helped me get a grasp of the concept of what they were trying to say.
From what I was reading, it sounds like they are fairly positive, like and social commentary and stuff. They had a song on their first album that was all about like slavery and France's involvement in it, I guess, or something. So that album's a little dated. It sounds kind of like late '80s, early '90s.
Oh, really?
But didn't really age very well. Except that
Mm.
song itself was. It's actually, um, from what if I remember what I read right, it sampled the Stevie Wonder song that I can't think of the name of the song, but the same one that um from Coolio, the
Oh,
Gangster's
Gangsta's
Paradise,
Paradise.
that
Okay.
with
Yeah.
the strings, yeah.
Yeah.
So that actually sampled it before him apparently. So
But yeah, but yeah. As for that album, man, I liked it from top to bottom pretty much on that one as well. And so yeah, but then after that, I just started to kind of go where I got comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I got into more reggaeton, which is that's could be anywhere from the Puerto Rico to the Dominican Republic to um, Colombia, Venezuela, everywhere.
yeah,
And and with reggaeton, I usually listen to more of the pop reggaeton because it was kind of more on the aspect of what I was used to
okay,
coming into like Spanish and stuff like that. You know, I'm used to hearing the stuff on the radio in my own culture. So that it was kind of the closest thing to my culture. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like people like Bad Bunny, J Balvin, Mike Towers. All these artists are like more of the pop realm.
okay,
And yeah, man, I just feel like with international, especially when it comes to hip hop, I didn't really know like people was out there doing like hip hop still
oh yeah,
with like in other countries. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought it was kind of like it's like a golden era of our country, and to where like we just kind of kept it
no, it's
here, but we still kind of like we and especially in the culture of hip hop. We kind of discard the old a lot,
yeah.
so we kind of push the I guess like the '90s boom bap back a lot. So yeah, it was good to hear that some of the stuff when I was
Well, I think
in
it seems to me like in America, it seems like a lot of the hip hop tends to kind of ride the trends, but outside the U.S., it seems like they respect
the
or
roots of it.
or
I guess.
feel yeah, that's more where they're coming from because there's actually a lot of good stuff. There's been a lot of like boom bap style stuff coming out of Canada,
Yeah.
like M Dot and oh, who else? Uh, Pretty Ugly is a producer out, NMC out of Canada that's done some really good stuff recently. Um, yeah, and even like throughout like the 90s and 2000s, there was a lot of good kind of independent underground style. And then the stuff I've been listening to from Germany and France, even though some of it's within the last 3-4 years, it still has that good kind of old school sound to it.
Yeah.
So it seems like there's just kind of more respect. And I know like listening to jazz, it seemed like even in like the 50s, 60s, from what I've read, I'm not quite that old. I'm almost there, but not quite. But the other countries respected the art form more so than the commercial side of it. And I kind of feel it's that same with hip hop. It seems like, although I mean there's probably plenty of pop stuff. In fact, there is. I know as I've been delving into like European hip hop, there is a lot that sounds.
Yeah.
It's weird hearing trap beats with some guy spitting in like French over it. You're like,
Yeah.
It doesn't quite sound right, but I'm sure plenty of people like it. But dang, this dog got me yesterday. So one of the ones I was going to bring up was I Am.
Okay.
So because I had a list that was like classic but recently discovered, and that was I Am was the first one since they started in the mid '90s. The other one is a British crew called Wax Solutionists.
Wax Solutionists.
Yeah, they're a 3-piece hip hop outfit. Founded from Austria. I thought they were British, but they're Austrian.
Okay.
So basically, they're more kind of turntablism. They're like 3 guys, so it's like DJing,
so
cutting,
like old school.
Yeah, lots of cuts, lots of it, and then just different MCs that are rapping over it. So that one's a really good one. They had a couple. I forget the name of the couple albums. I have one of them over there. I should have pulled that one out. But yeah, like I mentioned, I Am, and then did you have any more that you wanted to go into?
No, I do not.
Right. So now I'm going to jump into the modern list here that I have.
What you got?
All right. These are just, there's not in any particular order, but these first two, one is Australian and one is New Zealand. So the first one in Australia is, I'm assuming it's pronounced Socrates, but it's spelled S-O period, and then capital C-R-A-T-S. So like Socrates, but I think it's Socrates.
Socrates, yeah.
But yeah, they're a production duo from, Australia, very jazzy, but also very positive. One of their albums, I think it's called Panda. It's a really good album. It's got a lot of good songs on it. It's got a lot of good, like, melodic, 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 the first one I came across was an album called Malcolm After Mecca, so it was a reference to Malcolm X.
Malcolm X.
There's
Okay.
a lot of commentary on there, but just really jazzy beats.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the other one from New Zealand is a group called Avondale Bowling Club. And it's, again, just kind of jazzy, but just kind of straightforward emceeing, but
Yeah.
get a jazzy vibe to it. But I would recommend both of them. One, and I've mentioned this guy a few times recently, and it's Misanthrope. He's a German producer and rapper and DJ. So,
Yeah.
all in German, but it's got it varies. Some of it's kind of old school, kind of just 90s or breakbeat, boom bap style.
Yeah.
And other times it kind of delves more into an industrial kind of hip hop sound.
Okay.
A little heavier.
Is he the one that you mentioned last week with the ice cream joints on?
No, that's
a different one.
Yeah, I'll be holding that one up in a second.
Okay.
But I mentioned him, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Was like one of my recommendations.
Ah, gotcha.
The next one is a guy from England called Mosik Rhymes. So Mosik and then Rhymes.
Mosik Rhymes.
Yeah. Rapper, producer from the UK. According to Discogs is where I got this from. He has a stellar catalog of work. His sound is characterized by lifestyle, lyricism paired with energetic production.
Hey.
I know it's kind of funny, but just a really good dope MC. Good kind of modern boom bap, not like the trap or electronic stuff. More just good classic.
Okay.
With a modern vibe of the sound. He's worked with Crime Apple and the God Fahim, Sonny Jim, Vic Spencer, so a bunch of people that I recognize. Not necessarily huge fans of, but
you recognize him though.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can't think of the name of the album that I have from him, but it's really good. Just a good kind of. Yeah, I wish I had a better vocabulary for describing his things. But, the next two are producers. So one is, and I've mentioned both of these.
Okay.
Mapia is Polish.
Yeah,
So he's a Polish beat maker. Does some really good kind of jazzy, classic soul funk stuff. Worked with a few MCs. He has a really good album that's kind of jazzy with an MC named Kid Abstract, who's an LA MC.
Okay.
But they work together. That album's really she could think of the name of that one, like something. Anyway, but that's a really, really solid album. Like, I like that one a lot, actually. And the other one is a guy named Oldberger. And Oldberger Beats. And I mentioned him. He's a producer. He's worked with a lot of different MCs from the U.S. and from overseas, but he's done a lot of collaboration. And again, I'm drawing a complete blank. Yeah. Jeez, I should have looked that one up a little bit before. One thing I did find about him, he's actually the son of a jazz musician. So
he's
Danish, Norwegian jazz musician. Yeah. The next one is a French producer named Mora, M-O-R-A.
You know what? I think I've heard of it. I think I've heard it before. Yeah.
His is like some good like boom bap style, and he's worked with a bunch of MCs. In fact, the one album I first heard from was Return of the Boom Bap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Good album.
I can't remember where I heard him from. I believe I heard him on I don't know. He might have been featured with somebody or something like that. But it was really good though.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the beats. I really like the beats that I've heard from him. So, the next one is Your Ice Cream Joint that we talked about. And we brought this one up last episode, and it's a retro guy and Nepomuk.
Yeah, I'm not even.
German again. That's the one with the ice cream, like the old school, cheesy or really cheap ice cream man.
With Tweety Bird on it and stuff.
Yeah, and they're really like the gumball and nose that'll break your teeth. Both
jawbreakers.
Yeah, like jawbreakers. They're supposed to be gum, but they're like they were old before they even froze them. I think,
yeah, reinforced them bad with cement.
I'm pretty sure anybody that's got one of those has chipped their tooth on one of those.
Definitely.
Yeah. But both these guys are like German, like battle rappers, basically, from what I understand.
Oh, yeah.
But again, the beats are just really kind of jazzy, and the rapping, I don't know what the hell they're saying.
Yeah.
But it sounds good, and they ride the beat well. I know we've talked, like, for me, it's the beat, the flow, and the voice are the main things, and then the lyrics are like a close second. But those things, and that's how I can listen to this stuff, because even though I don't understand, I almost feel the vocal is just an additional instrument that's just kind of flowing along with it, because they rise the beat so well. Yeah,
and it's like just like sometimes you hear the power in the voice. We like I feel what you're saying, even though I don't know what you're saying, type of situation. And that just proves that music has no barriers, man. So it don't matter where you come from, you can enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Even though you don't understand what they're saying.
The only thing that worries me is like, because it's been a bunch of German hip hop. I hope I'm not like bumping some Nazi hip hop. And don't know what the hell they're saying, and I'm just like bobbing my head on. It's like, oh wait a second.
You just jam into that bad boy riding in the car.
I would. I would say I would hope that no Nazis are doing hip hop, but we know with cats like Tom McDonald and them that there are some
There's some people
white supremacist rappers that all should be shot, but that's another story.
Yeah, look.
My last one on my list is another German one, and I'm gonna butcher this name. It's Wort und Totschlag, and it's a German hip hop dude. It's a little heavier, kind of more like on the like grimier edge of the boom bap stuff, I think. So really good stuff though. Again, and then I didn't put it on my list, but again, should smack myself for this, but Buck 65 because he's Canadian, international. So we got punk rock b-boy right here.
Boy, Buck 65.
Yeah. So anyone that's watched this show knows that I'm a Buck 65 fan. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this one was pretty fun to actually to do the international one because I was just like I said, it just amazes me how they try to keep the hip hop more alive overseas than we do in our own country.
Like I said, I do think that they respect the art form of it more so.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people in the States are like just trying to make a buck off of it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, where, the culture itself is, that's where, the young eat the old. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's what it comes to. Like, it's, rap and hip hop is always, it's always been a young man's game, and it's always kind of been rebellious. So, so it's just I guess it's how it goes. But at the end of the day, I'm seeing other countries still sticking. Yeah. Which I'm not saying that what we doing is wrong.
No, I'm not either. I'm just it's like
it just feel like I guess I applaud it to where they try to keep I guess a conscious part of it alive for the most part. You know what I'm saying, as a whole thing. I guess you could say. I don't know. I don't know. Really trying to say in the end of the day, but
I don't either. I feel like I said that it's just more appreciated in some ways, and that's not to say there aren't a lot of American or American artists that appreciate it, but it just feels like there's a little bit more there. But I don't know. Feel free to tell us how wrong we are on that one.
I do have a question for y'all. So what I want y'all to do is if y'all watching this, put it in the description or in the comments below and name some international artists and albums that we can listen to, and we might check them out. So if
you're interested too in more, so there's two groups I belong to on Facebook. One's called Hip Hop Lifers.
Okay.
But the other one that they started was it was originally Hip Hop Lifers International, but I think it's just called International Hip Hop right now. But it's a good one because they, basically everybody on there, we just post stuff like good hip hop. On both one's just good hip hop in general. The international one
mainly international.
And real quick before I forget, this is another one along with Little Sims I should have brought up is Eugen Blackrock. We brought up her. I've talked about her before. She's a South African MC. So she just put out a song with Sayrock, who's a female MC from Minneapolis, I believe. She's part of the Rhyme Sayers label.
Okay.
Really dope female MC as well. But they just put out a single, and her Eugen Blackrock's album comes out May or June. I can't remember. But that's some.
See, I really don't know any like South African artists and nothing like that. I mean, I know like the popular, but they don't really do hip hop. Like, they do like rap, like Burna Boy. Like Burna Boy he's
it's like Afrobeat.
The Afrobeat type stuff. Yeah, he's that. He's not like actual hip hop type vibes. And I know there's some out there, but I just never ran across any South African artists.
There's
that I know of.
I'm trying to think of who.
Top of my head.
Because Femi Kuti was the famous Afrobeat. And I think it's his son that's Fela Kuti. No, Fela was the dad. Femi Kuti is his son.
Okay.
He put out a little EP recently, and it actually featured Black Thought on it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so it's kind of Afrobeat with Black Thought, and that was really cool. There was some good stuff on there. So that's cool, too, to see international. And that's one of the things I've liked about some of these producers, like the Oberger Beats and MOP. They're these foreign MC and producers, but they're working with, U.S. audiences. So it's kind of like it's helping them get known out here, but it's also
tapping them,
tapping into them
as well,
over there.
So like a vice versa
Yeah,
trade off, I guess you could say.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that they still respect where it came from.
yeah.
At the end of
They're
the day,
they're reaching out to different MCs and stuff.
yeah, because that'd be crazy. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's probably some artists out there from different countries that just like F the US. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, sure.
yeah, you feel me? So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
but yeah, you want to get into the recommendations or you got one? Or?
Recommendations. Oh man, do you have one?
I do have one.
All right, you do that while I bring up mine.
All right, so let me look. Okay, so my recommendation is let me see where I'm at with it. It's gonna be a Spanish artist, and it's an album called Muerte, which means death, of course. And dang, let me see. Dang, I forgot to put his name down. But I heard about this album through a friend of mine who taught me how to play chess. He's a Dominican dude. And he was like, because I was telling him, like, when I was listening to rap and stuff like that, it's my first try to learn Spanish. I'm still learning, but he was trying to tell me, he was like, no. He's like, you listen to the wrong kind of, like, music. He's like, that reggaeton stuff. He's like, that's not what we listen to. So he told me to listen to this guy. I forgot to write his name down, but the album's called Muerte from 2012. And pretty much this guy is rapping about a lot of social awareness stuff. In Spanish. It's got a lot of hip hop, like boom bap beats, and that type vibe. And he is spitting. And let me see what else I wrote down on here. Yeah, it says it goes into an emotional and an existential themes with death. But not has just a physical death. His name is okay. I might butcher this too. Concerbro. Concerbro. I'm not sure exactly what that translates to, but considerable. Yeah, he explores the death of the innocents, love, ego, betrayal, and violence, which all has these social morals around it. You know what I'm saying? And it's a very dark and introspective type of vibe that I'm getting off of that album. Of course, if it's named Death, you know what I'm saying, Muerte. So,
yeah,
but the things I did catch up on it was friendship and betrayal, life and death, of course, and his mental health with his inner demons. That's what he was pretty much talking about throughout that whole album. And yeah, so that's my recommendation for today. It's Muerte by Concierto. Go check it out. Let me know if you like it. So yeah.
All right. The one I'm going to go with, it's a British MC by the name of Ransom Bad Bones. He's got an album, White Rabbit. You can't really see it there, but it's a white rabbit on the cover.
White Rabbit.
Good, kind of classic boom bap style hip hop.
Yeah.
I like his voice and the way he flows. He's affiliated, and this is another group I should have brought up. Forgot to, and I apologize for that. But it's a group called the Four Owls.
The Four Owls.
Okay. Yeah, and it's a crew from England.
Okay.
Trying to think some of Flip Tricks, I think, is one of the guys. Leaf. Something Leaf is the other guy. I like a lot of his stuff too, actually. But this album is just a good. I'm still digesting it because I just recently started listening to it a little bit, but
yeah,
just a solid. Yeah. So let's see. It says underground legend and high focus stalwart Ransom Bad Bones re-enters the chat with new album White Rabbit. So Leaf Dog, that was the guy I was thinking. He's on production on this one, so providing a pitch-perfect soundtrack to Bad Bones showcases full arsenal of multi-syllabic, multi-syllable, flows, punchline, and infectious hooks as they further down the rabbit hole. So just, yeah, I would definitely check Ransom Bad Bones.
Okay. You said album's called White Rabbit?
Yep, White Rabbit.
White Rabbit.
Okay. Rabbit on it. So check that one out.
Yeah, that's I like that picture on it.
It's good and simple.
Yeah, it's simple.
Yeah. All right. Now we're gonna try to do our top 5.
See what we got today.
See what we got here. It's just top 5 albums.
Oh yeah, we did that. Yeah.
All right. top 5 cities. So
Top
hip hop
5 cities.
top 5 hip hop cities.
Well,
Do you want to do that one, or do we want to?
yeah, we can do that one.
All right.
Well, first, okay, we're gonna have to say what. Well, okay, when we say cities, we talking about just New York, or we want to get into like.
I was just gonna ask you that. Are we talking about the different boroughs?
Yeah,
let's just say New York.
Okay, yeah, because New York is definitely what started hip hop.
Yeah.
And dominated hip hop through, for the majority of it, I guess. Well, I ain't gonna say majority of it, because, I say when the mid 90s came, that's when LA.
It depends on who you ask, because you ask any New Yorker, and they're going to say New York's always done.
Yeah, you're right.
But you ask anybody from LA, and they're like, well, LA took the scene in the, in the early 90s.
That means I feel like that. I feel like LA, I say once Pac really came about, I'm not saying like Pac kind of like started off and launched it or whatever like that, but I'm saying like he kind of, I feel like, tipped it over to that.
The problem with that is that Pac became famous out of Oakland, but he's originally
from New York.
Yeah. So
yeah, but he claimed the West. You know what I'm saying? He claimed the West, so I'm gonna have to put him on the West side with Dre.
Because he started with Digital Underground out of Oakland.
That is Oakland. I don't know. But I mean, I would still say
LA.
I'll say LA. I say from 95 or 94 at least. Probably to 98 maybe or 90. Yeah. I say something like that. I feel like that's a good LA run. I feel like that's a good LA run.
Just to stick with that theme today, I'm going to throw London in there because we talked about it. There's a lot of stuff that did come out of London. I mean, there were plenty of stuff we're missing. And when I say London, I mean England in general. So
yeah, okay.
So because I know
you're not talking about just the city London.
Yeah, I'm just narrowing it down because the category city, but I don't know the geography of England well enough to separate them.
Yeah, so, neither do I. So
so we'll call it London and the surrounding
areas of it. Yeah.
The London Island. We'll call it the whole island of London. So
yeah. I would say, of course, I gotta say Houston.
I was gonna say for the South, would you say Houston or Atlanta?
I want to say Houston just because we got UGK and that whole thing, and we had a whole vibe where it came out with Slim Thug, Switch House, and Mike Jones and all them type stuff, and Trey Truth and everybody. But I do see me talking about with Atlanta because
Yeah, I mean there's different, because you can argue like the first non New York LA group to really make their mark would have been like Ghetto Boys.
Yeah, Ghetto Boys.
But you could also make a similar argument with Miami with like 2 Live Crew, because they really made their mark, and there was that whole bass movement scene down there with like DJ Magic Mike and the various offshoots of 2 Live Crew and all that stuff.
See, okay, I'm gonna say this right here. See, you know how you said that, they made their own. I don't really know. I didn't really live through, I guess, the 2 Live Crew, the Ghetto Boys like rises, but I did live through, like I said, through the, I guess, UGK, the whole Trill era, with like Swisher House and DJ Screw and all them.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I did live through that. So I felt the impact on, especially living in Texas.
Yeah.
I felt the impact around that. You know what I'm saying? So it felt like bigger than anything that I was. Like I said, I really don't know, because 2 Live Crew might have been, jumping off.
They were huge there for a time, but I would say that after 91, 92, you didn't hear much out of Miami that really
solidified them like that.
Yeah, so they were big for a moment.
Yeah.
Where you could argue with Houston just because, like you said, they came up with Ghetto Boys and then UGK and all that, and they're still, to this day, they've still got...
they still have their own culture.
Yeah.
And like Zero and everybody like that, got on legends.
And isn't Drake a Houston guy now?
No, Drake, don't put Drake in there. Do not put Drake in there. He took a lot of sounds from Houston, especially when he first came out. He did.
I was going to say, didn't he move down there, though? Isn't he living down there now?
So supposedly, I guess how it goes is he came from Canada, he moved to Memphis, and then I think he lived in Houston for a little bit as well. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know how people feel about Drake, like taking. I mean, we all know that he takes sounds and stuff like that, the stuff that he's influenced by. But the Houston one, I did like that Drake. I ain't gonna lie, I did like it when he was like remixing certain stuff, like just certain stuff from like Houston legends. But I don't know. I feel like he disrespected it at the same time because he's like he washed it away. Like once it wasn't cool for him no more. He's like, yeah, Houston.
I was gonna say if Houston wants to claim Drake, then I'm gonna say that disqualifies Houston from the conversation. So
yeah,
because I'm not, you know me, I'm not a Drake fan.
But, yeah, no, I don't know. We not a claim. I mean, I'm not from Houston either, so I can't really say nothing. But
yeah,
I just say as I will speak on their behalf anyway. They're not claiming them.
Yeah, other than like Houston, you have for the South, you have Atlanta and New Orleans. If you had to pick between those two,
I would definitely. Ooh, boy. Okay, so New Orleans, we got the Hot Boys, which is Cash Money, with Birdman, Lil Wayne, and all of them. You got Master P. Is anybody else I'm forgetting? Because I know those are the big.
I mean, the whole like. Who did you said?
Cash Money.
Yeah, that's Lil Wayne and all them, right?
Yeah, that's Birdman and all
yeah,
them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, which branching off like Young Money, Cash Money.
Yeah,
but it's still under the same umbrella.
See, for me, I'm not a fan of any of that. So.
Master P or nothing like that.
Yeah, I was never. Yeah, nothing really ever spoke to me on any of that stuff.
Okay. Well, I know because it's kind of a hard battle. Definitely, Cash Money had the more popular They had the notoriety of it because they was taking over the radios by storm. You know what I'm saying?
I know that, but at the same side, I feel like I saw No Limit
a lot more
everywhere. Like every time you go to the record store, and it might just have to do with quantity because they were dropping records.
Yeah,
and with those horrible album covers, was it Pen and Pixel or Pixel and Ink? Yeah. I mean, my eyes are still burned from some of those.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Even what you call it? Didn't Juvenile? I think 400 Degrees or something like that. Was it the same album covers?
They were all just terrible. I'm not a fan, and I know.
Yeah, but they had like their own. I mean, it was cool at the time. Yeah, it was cool at the time. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, yeah. I don't know. I don't know who I would give it to out of Atlanta and New Orleans.
I think to me it seems like Atlanta has been more stable, like for a longer time, because it seems like basically all I think coming out of New Orleans these days basically is still Lil Wayne, and he's not really even putting out a lot. Yeah. Other than that, I don't really think much about New Orleans hip hop. I know there's stuff there, but that
because they got Louisiana artists and stuff like that, but like.
It seems like Atlanta used to have a lot with like biggest outcasts. Yeah. The whole Outcast and Dungeon Family, and then I think T.I.'s Atlanta, and Killer Mike is Atlanta. So New Orleans probably put out more quantity. Yeah. In a shorter amount of time, where Atlanta's maybe less quantity, but a longer duration.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Atlanta has more artists to go off on. You know what I'm saying? Like they put out more artists who kind of bigger names, I guess you could say. Yeah, even in today's day and age. I mean, because like Louisiana, I'm not too sure about everybody coming out of Louisiana, but I know like the ones we got was like Webby, Boosie, NBA YoungBoy, some other people too. So I mean, that's probably somebody I'm really forgetting right now that I should be saying, but
I know there's a ton of people.
Yeah, it's a ton of people. But like if I compare that with Atlanta, that's a whole slew of people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I can just name off the back. So. Yeah, maybe Atlanta had to take that one then. Yeah, Atlanta has to take that one.
To switch coast again, what about Oakland? How would you feel about them?
See, okay, out of Oakland, we got Too Short, E40, Mac Dre. Where was he at? Because I don't know where Mac Dre is.
I want to say maybe Sacramento or Vallejo, kind of that. He was Northern California. We'll just throw him in that. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I mean, in addition to that, you got Hieroglyphics, so you got Souls of Mischief and
Souls of Mischief, okay, yeah.
Saphir, who we recently talked about, Ant Banks.
Ant Banks, Ant Banks.
Paris, DJ Shadow, Dan Automator, trying to think, a bunch of people you probably are not too familiar with, like Leronius, and then the Anticon crew, which some people like, some people don't. I don't know how many were actually from Oakland, but that's basically where the label was founded. It was a bunch of people from mostly like I think those ones from Cincinnati, and then like Souls from like Maine.
Okay. Well, we got
but they all kind of settled in.
Yeah.
And that's where they started.
Yeah.
The Anticon labels. That's kind of an Oakland label in my opinion.
We got my boy La Russell coming out of
La Russell.
Yeah, La Russell.
And Hugo Strange? No, Hugo the Monster. I think we talked about him.
I think you did say something about him. Yeah.
So there's him. He's out of the Bay Area.
There's a guy named Pilo. Which I heard,
Pilo?
Yeah.
All right. Not sure.
I didn't really listen too much about him. I don't know how well, the Oakland scene is at it. Yeah. He is, but I heard he's like kind of a legend over there.
Okay, I'm not.
I didn't really check.
You're not Pep Love, are you?
Nah, his name is Pilo.
Okay, I'd have to look.
Maybe he changed it to.
No, Pep Love was one of the guys from Souls of Mischief, but.
Oh, okay. No, I think this is different.
Okay. Yeah, E40. Did we talk about E40?
Yeah, I said E40.
Okay, yeah. So.
I think that might be the biggest one.
I think they're one of those that they put out a lot of stuff, but they're kind of like. I'm not gonna say like a B team, but just not quite as popular. They're maybe more regional, but have still made a little bit of noise.
I feel like they kind of had the same relevance as Houston. Like they got their own culture with it.
They definitely have their own sound.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of times you hear something, you're like, oh yeah, that's an Oakland or Bay Area vibe. Right?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying right there, yeah. So I feel like that's the same kind of vibe I get off of both of those coasts. Yeah. Like they parallel each other, that's what I'm trying to say. And
I'm gonna you had another one?
I'll go ahead.
I'm gonna throw up Halifax, Nova Scotia. That's cause
what
that's where Buck 65 is from. But you got him, you've got 6'2", you've got Josh Martinez, you've got the Goods, which was a guy named Kunga 219.
Okay.
Gorski. I wonder what was in the water in like the late 90s, early 2000s in Halifax, because they have like a great, to me they had a really good underground scene. And there's a bunch of other artists that I don't know if they were definitely from Halifax, but they're all Canadian. There's like Bird of Prey and DJ Moves, and then Governor Bolts, and there's this whole crew called Peanuts and Corn.
What?
There's like their crew. I forget what the name of the group is off the top of my head, but yeah. And I know they're kind of spread out, but I always kind of affiliate them with Halifax because that's where I first started listening to like Buck 65 and stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I know nobody else agrees with me, but I'm gonna put Halifax as a top tier hip hop city.
Go ahead, put them on there. I ain't never heard of them. But nah, we got of course, Compton.
Yeah, I mean, I was just lumping that in with LA, but yeah, I guess Compton itself.
Yeah, I mean, especially the greatest rapper of right now is from there. Is holding the flag of rap right now, which is Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then especially throughout their history, they gone from just NWA,
DJ Quick,
having a whole bunch of branches coming off of that. You know what I'm saying?
And they're all linked to like, Snoop and all those guys.
Eminem, 50 Cent. Like, that's all from the same NWA branch. You know what I'm saying? So I think Compton definitely had to be up there as well.
Yeah. But again, I would just wrap that into LA.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the New York thing. Do we talk about Harlem versus Brooklyn?
Because with New York, because what they got like a Harlem, which is like Dipset, stuff like that, and then you got like you can say Queens, which is
like the Juice Crew and Queensbridge.
50 Cent.
And then Brooklyn, which is
Big.
Yeah. I should know all these, but I can never.
Is KRS-One from Brooklyn, right? Or is he from?
Yeah, he's Brooklyn.
Yeah, he's Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nas is from Queens.
Yeah. I should remember all these. I'm kind of. In fact, I couldn't tell you for sure what KRS-One's from. I'm gonna get my fuck hard pulled.
No, you good.
So.
Oh yeah, and then Staten Island, of course, Wu-Tang.
Yeah, Wu-Tang. Yeah.
But yeah. So we just let New York just in there. You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying.
And then, just reminded me when we mentioned Compton in LA, is the whole Project Blow crew. So that that might make LA the top city of all time because Project Blow is the best of all time in my opinion.
Your opinion?
Yeah. So, LA, Halifax, New York.
That's how you going?
Yeah.
He said Halifax. He's still putting it in. Okay. I probably have to say, I don't know if I can really rank them like that, but
I know it's hard to rank them because I think they've all had their time period.
Yeah, they all had their moments. You know what I'm saying?
And
it's still switching up.
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, because at some point, I mean, there's stuff coming out of New York right now that, I'm sure, I guarantee you there's an MC in New York that's better than Kendrick.
Yeah.
There's probably one in Houston that's better than him. It's just a matter of if we'll ever hear him.
Yeah, if we ever hear him.
Yeah,
if we ever
so
get a chance.
At some point, though, somebody's going to come out, and then we'll have to figure out if,
After we had this discussion over again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, the name, the cities that we named, that's gonna be what it is.
Yeah,
I
we'll
can't really
with it,
think
yeah.
I don't want to.
We'll just put them all in there. So
Yeah.
But cool. If you guys have a favorite city, or if you think your city's the best, go ahead and give us some comments there. We'll keep an eye out for them and hopefully try to respond or bring them up. So.
Yeah. And nos vemos a la próxima semana. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Gotcha.